Good afternoon, everybody. So, yesterday we spoke about what is self, right? And how is it important when we talk about self in terms of personality. Now, today we are going to talk about the subjective nature of self and the objective nature of self. The subjective nature of self. The subjective nature of self indicates those qualities and characteristics of an individual that differentiates him or her from others. So, what is subjective matter of self? There are subjective matter of self is those qualities or those quantities that make you different from other people. For example, if I say I am an artist, let's say I am a good actor or I am a good singer. Yesterday you all wrote the qualities which you all have, right? So you realize that there were a lot of qualities which were different from the other people or from other students. So those qualities which make you different from other people are called as the subjective matter of self. When a person introduces himself or his or her name, like I am Priya, or by showing his or her quality, like I am honest, or by showing one's inner qualities, that I am a poet, or by showing one's belief, like I believe in fate, that is destiny, we express the subjective nature of self. So whenever somebody says introduce yourself, you say I am Priya, I am a poet, or I am honest. These are different qualities that make you different from rest of the people, and that is the subjective nature of self, or that is what falls under the subjective nature of self. Next is the objective nature of self. The objective nature of self means acceptance of self, however it is in the original form. Objective nature of self means you accept yourself whoever you are in your original self. You don't change that qualities of you, or those qualities do not change at all. The basic qualities of self when described in its original way is considered as an objective nature of self. When a person draws a beautiful picture and he introduces or considers himself a good artist, it is considered as an objective nature of self. So these are the basic qualities of self, and these remain in the original form. You do not try to change these qualities that are there in you. For example, there is a person, okay, he says I am an artist, and in order to prove that, he draws and then shows the picture to everybody and says, see, I am an artist. Then that is what falls under the objective nature of self. The subjective nature of self sees self as a subject, whereas objective nature of self sees its subject matter. So what they are trying to say is that subjective nature of self talks about you in a subjective way, in a descriptive way. How you describe yourself is the subjective nature of self. And what is objective nature of self? Different objects that classify you, that makes you into who you are, falls under the objective nature of self. Initially, while filling the gap, we saw that individual described about themselves like I am a singer explains the self as a person who is doing activity, where when a person is saying I am a person who cries easily, that time we explain ourselves as an object that is quickly affected by the environment factors. As a subject of self is continuously trying to know itself as a subject, self is a knower. So what they are trying to say is that starting when I say that I am a singer, so that is a subjective matter, right? But I say that I am an emotional person, I cry easily looking at the things around me, then that is the objective nature of self. Why? Because the environmental factors affects you in a way that you end up crying or you become emotional. Okay, so self is always a knower. You always try to know yourself into who you exactly are. Now, development of self and self-regulation. How can you develop yourself? How can you regulate yourself into who you are? At a smaller age, children's understanding develops before they learn to speak. So, when we are kids, when we are small, before we learn to speak, we understand things, right? Sometimes when a child is there, a child is not saying anything, the child is not speaking, or let's say the child has not learned to speak till now, but you tell the child understands those things, okay? Whether we pay attention to their needs, that plays an important role in child development. So whenever the child is small, we pay a lot of attention towards the development of a child in a good way, in a positive way. A child understands how people around him evaluate him. So the child always understands how are other people around him judging him. Whenever the child is there, if I tell the child knows that I'm judging the child to be a naughty child, but I say the child knows that I'm judging the child to be a good child or a beautiful child. So the child understands that everybody around me is evaluating me, is judging me. How they think about him and how they look at him. So the child is constantly thinking how other people are thinking about me, what are other people thinking about me. Or by all these, individual does self-evaluation. So based on the surroundings, we evaluate ourselves, we judge ourselves. On the basis of his or her develops opinions and concept about oneself. So based on the environment around, based on the surroundings around, we are able to evaluate or judge ourself. 4 things are associated with development of self. There are four things that comes when we are evaluating or when we are judging ourself. First is impression of one's body image. One is how do we see, lot of time we say I'm beautiful because we are thin, or sometimes we say I'm ugly because we are fat. So that is called body image. What do we think about our body? Okay, do you consider your body beautiful or do you consider your body not beautiful? Like yesterday we had Ayushi saying, right, that I am beautiful. So that's very, very important. Your image about your body, your image about yourself is very, very important. So impression of one's body image. Second, values taught by parents and information and message given by others. Different values, different morals that are taught to us by our parents. Different kind of informations that we receive from people around us, from our friends, from our family. That comes under this category. Relation of the child with people around him and with his environment. What sort of relation does the child have with the environment that is around him and with the people that are around him? And fourth is the values, aims and ideals in his life. So the last one is different type of ideals, different type of values, different type of concepts that are there around him or her. The warmth the child receives from his parents and care taken by them, faith of friends and others in the child, etc., creates the feeling of he or she is acceptable and a reliable person. So whenever the child receives warmth, whenever the child receives love from parents, from friends, then the child feels that I am accepted, I am loved, I am taken care of. So that is very, very important. So in order to develop a positive image about self in the child, he or she should be brought up in a positive environment and positive words should be used for him. So for making sure that the child develops in a positive way, that the child develops in a good way, you have to make sure that the environment around the child is positive and that you use positive words around the child. In this way, positive self-image can be developed in child. Types of self. What are these? This is important. Types of self. Okay. Types of self. First is realistic self. When we think about our present virtues, vices, it is called the realistic self. Okay. When we think about our virtues, meaning our positives, and vices, meaning our negatives, then that is called as realistic. Meaning these are my positives, these are my negatives. So you are judging yourself in a real way. Okay, so that is why realistic self. Possible self. When we think about the type of person we can become now onwards, it's called as possible self. What can I possibly become? What can I turn into? That is called as possible self. What can I become? How can I change myself? What can I become into? That is called as possible self. Third is ideal self. When we think about the kind of person we ought to or should become, it's called the ideal self. આપણે કહીએ ને આપણો ideal આ છે, મારે એના જેવું થવું છે, મારે પ્રિયંકા ચોપડા જેવું થવું છે, કે મારે નીરજ ચોપડા જેવું થવું છે. સો દેટ ઇઝ કોલ્ડ એઝ આઈડિયલ સેલ્ફ. વેર ડુ યુ વોન્ટ ટુ સી યોર સેલ્ફ એઝ? How do you want to change yourself as? Okay, when we think about the kind of person we can become, then that is called as ideal self. If a person's real self is considerably different from the ideal self, he faces problems in adjustment. So your real self and your ideal self should be somewhat same. When that similarity is not there, when that same things are not there, then there will be problem with adjustments, there will be problem with personality development. More the distance between ideal self and realistic self, more tensed will be the person. Sometimes it is harmful towards the personality. So it is necessary to have more information about self. If the distance is more, if there is a lot of difference between your real self and between your ideal self, then it creates a lot of problem, lot of adjustment problems, and sometimes it can also cause harm to your personality development. Self-regulation method. Okay, self-regulation. Life is revolutionary. That means life around us is always changing. During the lifespan, individual is continuously trying to satisfy his needs. So, we are born, and when we are born, we are continuously satisfying our needs. Our need for food, clothing, shelter, safety, love, all these things. We are continuously trying to meet these needs that are around us. One has to obey the situation when one is trying to satisfy the needs, or sometimes have to fight with the situation to satisfy needs. So sometimes we have to adjust when it comes to satisfying our needs, and sometimes we have to fight the situation in order to satisfy the needs. So sometimes we have to adjust in order to meet our needs or in order to satisfy our needs, and sometimes we have to adjust, and sometimes we have to fight, okay, in order to meet the needs that are around us. In this difficult situation, it is necessary to establish control on ourselves. So in such situation where we have to constantly adjust, constantly fight, we have to control ourselves. So to achieve the important goals of our life, one has to develop self-regulation, that is controlling ourselves in a positive way, in a good way. For self-regulation techniques, yoga, vipassana, meditation, scientific and psychological methods like biofeedback, auto-suggestions are helpful. According to Indian scripture, fasting, athai, roja, non-possessiveness are the helpful ways of self-regulation. So what are different ways of self-regulation? Doing yoga, doing meditation, okay, using scientific method, taking help of counselors, psychological help, all these things. Biofeedback, meaning somebody giving you positive feedbacks or suggestions. All these things are important when it comes to self-regulation. And lot of times Indian scriptures also says that when you do fasting, you can regulate yourself. When you do roja, all these things, okay, can help you to regulate yourself, can help you maintain yourself. Several psychological techniques which are used for self-regulations are as follows. So they have given us few psychological methods through which you can do self-regulation. First is self-observation. Self-observation can be considered as a moving laboratory of psychology. What is observation? When you are able to understand things around you. Self-observation means what? When you are able to understand yourself. Okay, so self-observation is a moving laboratory. That is, it doesn't matter whether you are at home or whether you are at school or university or wherever you are in traveling. You can always observe yourself. If a person objectively observes himself on a regular interval of time, he can have a good understanding about themselves. So whenever we are objectively, without any, without doing anything wrong, when you are able to, observe yourself, when you are able to know that these are the problems in me, these are the good things in me, when you are able to judge yourself properly, then it can help you grow in a positive way. It can help you progress in a positive way. From self-observation, person is able to find out his strength and weakness and can try to reduce his weakness. So when you engage yourself in self-observation, you are able to find out that these are my positives, these are my negatives, and then you can work towards completely removing out the negative qualities that are there in you. In this way, self-regulation is done through self-observation. Next is stimulus control. What is a stimulus? Anything that gives you a response is called as stimulus. Most of the person's reactions are elicited as a response to various stimuli. So usually we respond to the stimulus that are around us. Okay, all the responses that are there around us is because of the stimulus that is present in the environment. Like time, situation, condition. Therefore, in order to control behavior, one should control that the stimulus which arouse in them. So in order to control our behavior, in order to make sure that we are in our best behavior, we should not get affected by all the stimulus that are around us. So there are a lot of stimulus that are around us. We should choose which stimulus we want to react. Don't react to every stimulus. Let's say I am a stimulus and you are a person who is going to give me a response. If I am constantly making you angry, okay, so you should try to avoid me, or you should not give any response to me, or you should not react to me. Okay, so that way you can control the stimulus that is there around you. For self-regulation, one should eliminate from one's environment the useless and destructive or unnecessary exciting stimulus. So in order to regulate yourself, those stimulus which are unnecessary, unneeded, or which causes excitement in you, or which causes stress in you, such stimulus should be avoided. For self-development, arrangement should be made for receiving harmless or useful stimulus like photographs of great person, good saying, meditation, pranayam, etc. So for development of self, you should arrange yourself in such a way that you receive lot of useful and lot of good stimulus that helps you develop yourself in a positive way. It could be, putting photographs in your room, putting quotations, motivational quotations in your room, okay, meditation, pranayam, yoga, all these things should be done. So that is called as stimulus control. Next is reinforcement. Self-reinforcement means achieving self-regulation through the medium of reward and punishment. So reinforcement means what? Either you reward a person or you punish the person. Lot of time self-regulation can be done that. Let's say that if I am studying and I decide कि આજે હું 2 કલાક ભણીશ અને જો હું 2 કલાક ભણીશ તો હું આઈસ્ક્રીમ ખાઈશ. So what you will do, you will study for 2 hours and then eat ice cream. So that is your reward for studying for 2 hours. And let's say that you say that I'll study for 2 hours. If I don't study for 2 hours, I will not see TV. Let's say you're not able to study for 2 hours. So that day you punish yourself and not watch the TV. So that is called as reward and punishment strategy. Okay, that's how it works. For example, a student gives reward to himself when he completes his homework in a given time. Let's say you complete your homework in a given time, you reward yourself. Same way, he will decide to punish himself for eliminating bad habits. So for removing bad habits, you will punish yourself. A person can take help of his family members, friends and teacher to get reward and punishment. Next is self-instruction. Often we talk with ourselves. We often engage ourselves into talking. खुद से बात करना. Like, good job, you did well, oh you are good, oh you are best, oh you are beautiful. So that is called as instruction, self-instruction. A man can control and change his self-concept and behavior by systematic use of method self-talk. So you can control and you can change yourself in a positive way if you talk to yourself on regular basis. Before so many years, the suggestion was given by Emil Cauchy is still used for self-development. So this concept was given by Emil Cauchy many years back, and it is even used till today for development of self. The famous statement, day by day, in every way I am getting better and better, say such things. Day by day, I am doing better. Day by day, I am getting better and better. So those are called as self-instructions. If repeated again and again regularly, can lead to development of positive self-concept. So if you repeat such things daily to yourself, tell yourself, I am a beautiful person, I am a good person, then you will develop in a positive way, in a good way. You will have a good development of self. Similarly, sentence by Louis Hay, now I love and approve myself, is also helpful. So there are a lot of positive affirmations, meaning positive sentences which you can say to yourself, like now I love and approve myself. Okay, that helps to develop in self-concept. In this way, above mentioned psychological techniques can be helpful in obtaining self-regulation. So here we have completed chapter number 8. Please read through, study well, because you have this chapter for tests.